Alright, so today I finally reassembled the Indigo2 um, Extreme Impact, whatever one it is. It has this 4-layered graphics card, and I wasn't able to get video out of it last time I worked on it, and so it's all back together. I have different cables now, so I can try different sync on green connections and see if I can get this thing working. It has worked before. And last time we checked it, the system was working, the video card was not. $58 watts already. Okay. The monitor is ready. Hit the power button. $200 watts about. I can try a different cable. Switching the monitor cable over to the other sync on green connection. It does nothing, just like before. Oh, remember to plug that in. That's fine. Let's try a different cable. Okay, I took the card out again, and I removed the top board, which is the TV processing. I think it's called the Galileo board. Anyway, I'm looking for anything wrong with these boards. Maybe a part fell off or something. And I did find, in a weird spot too, I did find a couple lifted pins. And it doesn't look like it was intentional. Right there's a couple lifted pins. I'm going to investigate that a little further before I go ahead and just solder them back down. It's kind of hard to tell if it was done on purpose or not. And the location that it's in, it seems very unusual. Like, I don't know how that could have been done on accident. I'm going to keep looking. Here's the main board I have. I was going to make a copy of the PROM while I'm in here and see if it's alright. If it, well, it probably is fine because the computer is booting. It's just not spitting out any video. And I wanted to put a note here that that lifted pin in the previous shot, that was done intentionally at the factory. As you can see, a lot of these older boards, sometimes they have these wires going across the boards. These are called rework or jumper wire, but they are to correct a problem that was within the original design, and sometimes that's just how that's how they fix the boards to sell them, to make them work. So that lifted pin that was intentional, and it was left that way when it was shipped. And here I wanted to point out another example, a lifted pin, probably from testing. There's 4 of them right there. So that's something, if you you do repair work on old electronics and you see things like that, don't just go ahead and solder it back down, because that might make the device non-functional. And since there's very little documentation on this kind of stuff, I wanted to be very careful not to make corrections that I don't know if that's really going to correct something or not. Like this here, this is the mistake I made, but it didn't turn out to cause any problems. There was a wire, one of these wires, that was cut, and it looked like it had continued on, and so I corrected that, and I spent a whole year trying to figure out why this wasn't working, and it didn't turn out to be this, but that just made it a little more challenging for me to figure it out. Was it something I did, correcting what I thought was a mistake when really it was intentional? So let's go ahead and go on, continue, and just keep that in mind. Sometimes those mistakes are actually supposed to be that way. So after a lot of testing and trying to make this work, I ended up just swapping the whole entire thing with the other system. So I guess I can pull the cover off. This is the teal version with all the impact hardware. Okay, so I have the Indigo2 hybrid here, combination of parts from both systems that I had, because neither of them worked. And what I have here is the the impact graphics chipset. This is the 4-board version with the what is it, Galileo or something, video capture system. Well, let's see if it works. Pulling 9 watts. Fans on. It's at 170 watts now, but it's not doing anything. No chime. No video. Alright, I swapped out the CPU module. So now this has the faster chip. This one here is well, maybe I got that backwards. Anyway, it's the module. It has the onboard cache. This one doesn't have that. And I put in the PROM from the other system. So I swapped the 2 PROMs, and I'm ready to just do a test here, see if it'll post or make a chime or whatever. Oh, got a light now. Okay, I think that that's a step in the right direction. Let me put in the graphics card and see what it does. Alright, here it is with the graphics card installed. Plug in the fancy video plug. You can tell I'm getting really tired of the system, huh? Okay. All right. Nice. I haven't seen that in a year. Awesome. Wow. Okay. So it was the motherboard, apparently, on the other system. I'm gonna let that sit there for a second, and we can take a look at the other system. So this was the faulty motherboard. Not sure what exactly is wrong, but you can see some of the work that the engineers did. I don't know if that's original from the factory or if it was repair work, but all that wiring, that's rework, and it's very delicate. So is the rest of the hardware, just being so old and brittle. I put the PROM in the other motherboard. I put the memory. I even put the CPU into the other motherboard and the graphics card. And now it turns on. I'm going to reassemble everything so that I have a pretty purple box sitting here, and I'll see if I can install IRIX. Alright, now I have a keyboard and mouse. It's all back together. Is there a magnet up there or something? Where's the D-gauze? Oh. No D-gauze. There it is. Okay. Press any key to continue. And does my mouse work? Yeah. Okay. And I want to HINV. And there is now showing the graphics GU1 Extreme, and the SCSI discs are showing up. When I was doing this with the other motherboard through a serial terminal, none of the SCSI devices would show up, and there was no graphics. It would say something like load video failed, and then that was it. And it would go back to this prompt here. And there's the PROM version, September 16th, 1993. So now I need to I need to get an IRIX disk for this system, and since I only have one sled and it's being used by this hard drive, I might have to figure out a way to install it over the internet, over the Ethernet, or or make a cable somehow with well, it has to connect to that thing, so however that can be done. Here's the sled from the other system, and you can see the connector's been broken off on one side. System. Auto boot failed, of course, because there's nothing there. So I can install it from a remote tape drive, remote directory, or local CD-ROM, or local tape. Let's see what it asks when I do this, or what it tells me. Enter the name of the remote host. I had to set that up. What does it say if I do tape? Same thing. Okay. So I need to get the IP and MAC address of this system, which is probably set to the default. So it's about 6 in the morning, and we finally got the boot network booting configured and ready to try it out. Since this only has one sled, I have no way of putting a CD-ROM in. And I tried modifying it with a with a SCSI cable and some plugs. There's a little more than this, but it didn't work quite right. Had some really interesting artifacting on the screen when I turned it on, so it didn't work. Do you need the terminal at all? No. Okay. So it's plugged in directly to the network, and then I think so is the laptop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the video output that I was having trouble with for the last year, and it wasn't the video card actually, it was the motherboard. And that's for the 3D glasses, and I forget what that one's for. And this would normally plug into a big box with a bunch of analog inputs and outputs. This one here I think is 6 gigabytes. So we have 6 gigabytes to work with. And if you notice, the bottom part of the case is not purple, it's green. And that's because I mixed the parts from the two systems I had to make one that works. So this is a green Indigo2 motherboard case, and some of the memory, and the rest of it is from the purple one, which is the Indigo2 Impact from 1992-93. It has the EV or the EU1 chipset for graphics. And completely full of memory at 300 megabytes right now, 320 megabytes. Here's the motherboard from the purple one, and it seems to be non-working. Well, it is working, but the video and RAID controller do not show up and do not function. So it could be a bad socket somewhere. I was doing that thing again. So it had nothing to do with my cable. Yeah, it's just a startup issue, I guess. Some sort of oscillator is not syncing all the way when it's turned on. I'll go into here and show the information. So it has the R4400 CPU. It's running at 200 megahertz, 320 megabytes of memory, 2 megabytes of L2 cache, and 16K by 2 for L1 cache. And then over here would be the SCSI controller, monitor. There's the graphics, the SGI GU1 or GV1 Extreme. And the NVRAM is still good.